This video is to share 3 mistakes that I often hear from my clients when it comes to evaluating candidates during an interview. And those are reasons why people actually get rejected from the job. And I think they are actually extremely easy fixes. The first mistake that I often hear candidates make is they do not show their, long term commitment to Japan. So, what you have to realize is that when you go apply for a job in Japan and you apply for a company, is that they look at you as, a long term investment. They don't want to invest in someone who might leave after a year or two with the skills, with the knowledge, and eventually just go back home. So when they interview people, what's really happening is often that they will try to understand how long are you actually planning to stay in Japan. And very often people don't very often people don't succeed at showing that they're actually planning to stay for the long term because they simply don't think about it. Now, obviously, you cannot just lie and say, "Oh, I'm going to stay here for the next 10 years," because first of all, they will see through it. But I do believe that you should be able to, showcase through subtle details that you are somehow serious about your life in Japan. For example, it might be a bit of a personal information, but if you have, for example, a Japanese partner, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever, you could simply kind of mention that during the conversation. If you study the language, again, you should mention it. If you have specific hobbies in Japan, you should mention those things. Overall, you want to showcase that you are pretty much living your life here. There's no real reasons for you to go back home, so to speak. So yeah, that's kind of the first mistake that I often see people make. The second mistake I often hear is that candidates tend to talk too much. And same as me right now, right? I am completely going off script. I realized recently that I actually really hate to have a script and trying to, be as precise and optimized as possible. It stresses me out. But during an interview, you should try to be extremely precise in your answers. And so I often hear my clients tell me that the candidates had a tendency to, go off topic and ramble. So again, I think, it's kind of normal. Like going to an interview, you're pretty nervous. You wanna impress people. You wanna try to, show as much as you can how qualified you are, and that can lead to going off topic. An easy fix to that might be to simply say that right away when you start an interview. Hey, Mr. Hiring Manager, or hey, HR, I'm actually pretty nervous. Like this job opportunity means a lot to me. And when I'm nervous, I have a tendency sometimes to, go a little bit off topic and ramble a bit. So if that's the case, please do not hesitate to stop me. I think that by saying that, you're accomplishing 2 things. You will actually showcase that, first of all, well, you care. And second of all, you're kind of self-aware that you have a tendency to ramble. And on top of it, actually, you will also make them feel comfortable to stop you, which will lead to a better interview experience. So that will be definitely a tip that I will give to people. The third mistake that I often see people make is that their answers to those very key questions, such as why do you apply for the company, why should we hire you, what are your current motivations, like those questions that you will get during an interview. Very often what happens is that candidates have generic answers. And what I mean by a generic answer is an answer that you could literally copy and paste towards another company. Like, let's say you could copy and paste your answer towards their competitor in a similar interview. That's a generic answer. And this is something that people do a lot, especially engineers that, when they job hunt this, they often have several interviews lined up with several companies, and so they don't necessarily put in the effort to tailor their answer for each company. And well, hiring managers hate that because they just feel like you're just going to take the highest offer in the market. You don't really care about the problem that they're trying to solve, or you don't really care about being part of what they do. So to summarize it, the mistake number one is, like I said, not showing their long-term commitment to Japan. The second one is rambling. And the third one is having extremely generic answers to questions that you know you will actually have during an interview. I hope this helps. Like I said, I don't really want to script my videos anymore. I have like key points, and so I try to not ramble. I try to be as straight to the point as possible, but feel free to put down in the comments what you think of my way of delivering this information, what I can improve, and what you would like to hear more from, a tech recruiter here in Tokyo. As always, appreciate your time. And oh yeah, by the way, I really need to do something because there's absolutely no background right now, and it just looks weird. But probably for the next video. Cheers.